All right. All right. Hey, guys. This is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast. Hey, everybody enjoying their silk soaked down freaking rain. Did anybody thought it was going to rain today? I sure didn't. But it's raining down here in Central Texas. But hey, let's forget about the weather. Let's jump in, man, and let our guests introduce themselves, starting with Nick. Nick, introduce yourself, brother.
Hi, I'm Nick. I am a member of Ghostbusters Texas Rangers Division and also uh, our unofficial job titles. I am the paranormal classifications and cataloging expert.
Uh, that sounds like a big one right there, man. Sounds pretty big right there. All right. Well, William, talk to me, brother.
My name is William. I'm new to the group. Just got officially in 2 weeks ago, last week.
Patched in, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Just having a blast with these guys. I'm a field agent and just making sure that if there's anything needs to be done, I'm on the call.
All right. Man, comments are coming in already. Hello, Jessica. How you doing? All right, so guys, we're going to go into a quick intro, then we're going to come back, then I'm going to bombard you with a whole bunch of questions. How you guys
go
feel
for
about
it.
All right, here we go. All right, there we go. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. You guys know who I am. This is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast. We have a team called Ghostbusters Texas Rangers Division from Dallas, Texas. Man, I hope I got that right.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Oh,
You're good.
thank you. All right, so tonight, guys, as you guys know, we are live. We are live on Twitch. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Instagram. Finally, they released it. So we're able to go live on IG. Can you believe it? And we are live in East Texas, up in the Lufkin area. Hey, man, appreciate you guys letting me do this. I really do. We
No
also
problem.
live international, coming from the great country of Japan. Appreciate you guys joining me over there. I know it's pretty early or it's pretty late. And we are also live in the great country. We are live in UK. So, hey, all you guys, thank you for joining. Whether it's morning, evening, night, afternoon, hey, welcome to the show. You know what I'm saying? So,
Thanks for having
Nick,
us.
yes, sir. Mr. Nick, we're going to start off with you, brother, since you got that
Sure.
big name is. And I'm going to throw something at you right quick
What's
because I am a big skeptic and I want to be able to, because this was on my mind all day.
Sure.
And I want to be able to get some answers from you guys, considering you guys are up in the Dallas area. And,
Sure.
tell me a little bit about this Goatman's Bridge, man, because it's really. Please tell me about that because it drives me crazy when people drive 800-900 miles to go investigate this place, and it's only an urban legend. Now, am I right or am I wrong? Please please fill me in.
I've been there. I've been to the bridge. A lot of it is over exaggerated stuff. There is unconfirmed historical reports, which is easy for anybody to take with a grain of salt, because if it's unconfirmed, then that doesn't mean it actually happened. But the general story behind it is there was a black gentleman who was a goat farmer who was lynched by KKK members and hung from the bridge, supposedly. And he came back as cryptid goat man, supposedly. That's the myth and legend of it. Um, is there paranormal activity in and around that bridge? I think so. Is it directly goat man related? Is it like a cryptid that looks like a half goat, half man? No, nobody's ever seen that. People have claimed to see shadows and all kinds of other weird things down there, or they've attested demonic, rituals down there. But I think it's just creative people with spray paint and whatnot going down there and just um, building off the urban legend and adding to the fear of the whole thing. Were there rituals ever done on that bridge? I can't say for certain. I have no idea. I can't tell you. But also, was there a gentleman that was ever lynched on that bridge? I can't say for certain either. There's no historical documentation to support or deny that story. But
Hmm. Well, okay. So if you had a number, let's just throw it out there. If you had a number on what you think that actually happened, it would be what? Give me a percentage on that. Can you?
I don't know. It's to me, it's like 50-50. It could have happened. It could have not happened because urban legends, there's usually a grain of truth in.
Now,
There's,
see, the thing with the urban legend is, and something with that magnitude, a man being lynched and coming back as a goat.
mhm.
Dude, that sounds like a Stephen King freaking movie right
It
there.
does. It does. It does. I mean, it's just people taking an incident that may have happened around that bridge and blowing it out of proportion, you know. So other than that, I don't know the validity of it. I've never seen the goat man, not while I was there. I was at the bridge at night and we picked up a lot of weird stuff, a lot of weird signals, a lot of weird EMF readings that shouldn't be out there. There's no wiring out there. There's nothing out there that could be throwing out electromagnetic waves out there. But we were picking those up. We were picking up uh, very specific words on spirit box and stuff. We picked up a woman's voice saying she had been raped out there. And that sort of thing. So, I mean, I wouldn't attest that bad things may have happened down at that bridge, but you
Now,
know,
is it possible? I mean, because I've never been there.
mm,
My team wants to go, but I'm sorry, man. I'm not going to drive 8 hours for urban legend. Now,
no, I understand.
is it possible that some of that land, the land that this bridge is on,
Hmm.
is it Native American? Is there anything that
I don't
can
know.
be? I mean, because that's the only way I can see this actually going down like that.
Yeah, I agree. William, have you ever been out there? Have you ever had any experiences Old Dalton Bridge?
Man, I want to say that I went up there back in high school,
Yeah, I
just,
can see that.
and we just roll over the bridge, and it's
Mm,
like spooky. That's about all
yeah.
my was with it.
Hmm.
Um, and every area has their urban legend. Like here, actually, in the Dallas area, it's the Lady of the Lake,
White Rock Lake. Yeah. Hmm.
and it's the Goat Bridge, and the Jersey Devil, and the Chupacabra, and so
Hmm.
Oh man, yeah.
and have something that
Yeah,
build a
I
But
legend.
agree.
yeah, that's crazy, dude. I mean, you guys are from Dallas. I just had to throw that in there. The one thing I noticed about North Texas,
Mm.
man, there's a lot of urban legends out there.
Oh yeah.
There,
A
I
lot of
mean,
which we are going to be investigating in a series that we're going to put out at some point. But yeah,
why do you think? Another question about this urban legend. Why do you think that a lot of paranormal teams just seem to throw urban legends over their shoulder and not forget and just forget about it? Don't even try to investigate it. Why is that?
commonalities between stories, like for example, the Lady of White Rock Lake. There's similar stories in other states with similar lakes and stuff like that. So a lot of people don't take it too seriously because they consider it an urban myth that just passed from state to state by word of mouth, and it's like a game of telephone. Everything gets scrambled and changed over time by word of mouth until somebody comes up with their own version of the story. Um, but yeah, something like Goatman's Bridge is fairly unique because I've heard of a Goatman as a cryptid mentioned before, but I've never heard of the specific story tied around the Goatman and Old Alton Bridge. That's very unique, specific only to what I've heard from that bridge. There's a book that I found on Amazon that supposedly goes into the deep occult stuff that supposedly happened around the bridge, and I wanted to pick it up just to read it, just to see if there's any validity to it or if it all seems like sensationalized hogwash. So
That's what it sounds like to me. Is this bridge active? I mean, is it? I mean,
no,
is it closed down or it's just
it's more like a historical landmark now. They
okay?
don't want to tear it down because it represents an old part of history, but it doesn't act as a connector to any road or anything. It's kind of just out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay,
It used to connect dirt roads and stuff.
now have the state of Texas officially put the historical landmarker out there?
I think they did. If I recall, last time I was there, there was some sort of plaque on it. Um, but I don't know if it's protected by as being a historical location or not. It may or may not be. But they haven't bothered doing anything with it. It sits over a small river of some kind, and yeah, they haven't bothered to tear it down. I think there's some trails out there too, some public trails that are still used as trails around there. That I guess they just don't see any reason to tear the bridge down yet. So.
Interesting. Okay, because I've heard so much about this. I mean, there's people traveling great distances
Hmm.
to investigate this landmark, and
Hmm.
I'm
Well,
just
I mean,
one.
Ghost Adventures did an episode out there. What do you call it? BuzzFeed. Those two
BuzzFeed.
guys from BuzzFeed went out there and did that episode out there. So it's been sensationalized in media quite a bit. So of course people want to come out and see it. You know.
Yeah, weird. I anyway. Yeah, okay, guys. Tell me a little bit about Dallas and what's going on up there, man. I mean, big
As far
city.
as
There's a lot of paranormal stuff out there. Just lay it all out to me. What's going on?
we actually have a whole thread in our member Discord for the Ghostbusters Texas Rangers division called Haunted Locations, where we're listing a lot of haunted or supposedly haunted local locations that we plan on investigating in a series that we want to film. We want to make it a half comedy, half horror kind of series and stuff like that. But a lot of these locations are fairly common locations within the DFW Metroplex. William, if I've been blathering on and you've barely said a word, go ahead and list off some of the
Let you go, man.
locations.
I'm not extremely familiar with a lot of haunted locations in the area. Mostly, like the normal ones, Lady of the Lake. There was, forget which hotel that's supposed to be downtown in Dallas.
Adolphus.
That's it. Yeah. So yeah, I know of places, I just can't think of the names.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you just take point in most of this.
Okay, fine. I'm trying to help you participate, brother.
No,
Um,
no worries. I'll get him.
oh,
No
good.
worries.
Okay.
I'll get
So,
him.
Hotel Adolphus, I've done a lot of reading on that one. What's funny is the hotel is very hush about supposed hauntings. Hang on, I got a cat coming in the room checking on me. The Hotel Adolphus is pretty mum about supposed alleged hauntings that go on within the hotel. Although bartenders that have worked there have fully attested to their liquor cabinets being completely rearranged after
Oh,
hours. They come back to it. It was locked. There's no way anybody could have gotten in there without a key. What? I don't know. Sorry, my cat. And uh, yeah, they've come back to the liquor cabinet the next day, and their liquor's completely rearranged, and none of it's missing out of the bottle. It's just the bottles have been moved to spots where they weren't were where they weren't there previously. There was a gentleman I read an article about that died in room. I forget what the room number was. It was 14 something. Be funny if it was 1408.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 14 something or other in the hotel, and he died. No explanation. They couldn't. He was a young man. He was like late 20s, early 30s, I think. And they found him dead in his bed.
Oh
Nothing.
wow,
No.
interesting.
Yeah. No autopsy. No nothing. Said that it was any foul play, any substance abuse. Nothing. He just died. And I've heard stories of people who have rooms where the old ballroom was located, about midway, I think, up the hotel, where they used to have the old ballroom, and now it's sealed off. They say in the middle of the night they hear big band music coming out of the ballroom. No
Oh,
explanation
interesting.
as to why, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a lot of creepy stuff going on in that hotel. But the hotel is very. They don't want people talking about it,
Mm.
supposedly.
You know,
So.
that sounds like just about every hotel that has something going on. I mean, there's a
Mm,
lot of people that hush hush about it. But the thing
hmm.
is, why do the hush hush thing when
Yeah.
you should embrace it and open it up? Because I think you attract more paranormal investigators to that
Hmm.
location. You know what I'm
I think it's
saying?
because it's a bit of a schwanky hotel because they're in downtown and they're a grand old hotel.
Yeah.
So they
It-
want to keep with that reputation and not pull in the plebes like us that want to do paranormal investigations and stuff like that.
Mm.
Which I asked them at one point because I was planning on filming investigations as a Ghostbuster before I had helped found this current group that we're in, if I could film anything down there, and they were like, no, that's a hard no. We can't let you do that. So I was thinking about us doing it sort of undercover, just getting a room there, maybe as a staycation one weekend, and then because we're paying customers at that point, you can't tell us anything,
Yes, sir.
and
You're
then
absolutely right. You're paying customers. They can't say anything to you.
yeah, we're guests of the hotel at that point. So if we come out in the middle of the hallway with our uniforms and proton packs and PKE meters out, you guys can't really say anything. I'm sorry, we paid for a room. We're
Hey,
just filming. So,
and make sure you stick that chest out and them guts in.
absolutely.
the Ghostbusters trying to look professional.
There
Mm,
you go.
we do our
Hey,
best.
let me ask you guys. Let me ask you guys a question because I've thought about this. Now there are certain locations where there's been tragedy in
Hmm.
Dallas.
Hmm.
Have you guys ever went to the location where JFK was shot
Oh,
and
sure.
investigated that place? I mean
I
that
haven't investigated it, but I've been down that street plenty of times in downtown Dallas. So,
About
but
investigating. There's always been someone that they'll draw the X where the shots were fired,
Mhm.
and
mm,
they actually come in and clear them out, and then the next day they're back
hmm.
Oh wow.
up there and replaces those X's. I
Hmm.
think they just stopped fighting it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean,
I'm one of those that thinks JFK wasn't killed by the guy they said he was in the
yeah,
building that they said the
oh,
shot came from,
definitely. Come on, dude.
because it's BS. But
That
yeah.
one is the. I mean, that is probably one of the third biggest cover-ups of
Hmm.
American history.
That they're not even sugarcoating was a cover up anymore. They're like, yeah, we kind of hid that
Yeah,
Yeah.
something
at this
could
point.
have happened, maybe, but we're not really going to tell you.
But the
Yeah.
question is, who has that type of power to kill a U.S. president and get away with it?
Well, it just depends on who you want to think did it. I mean, there's the LBJ connection, there's the mafia connection, there's the Cuba
Hmm.
connection. So it just depends on what string you want to follow, and you might find out they all kind of cross at some point.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh
Or
yeah.
you know what? Or was it old Marilyn herself? You know, she
No.
was.
No.
The two I won't buy is Marilyn and Bobby.
Mm.
You
Not really.
know.
I don't know, but the Grassy
Uh
some of
yeah.
the I don't know about my brother sent me something the other day. He was talking about the Secret Service guy behind him. The gun accidentally went off. I'm like, okay, no. If at most it was a triangular of the crossfire, and with the guy behind the grassy knoll, someone in the depository. I say Oswald had something to do with it. He was definitely a shooter up there. He was just kind of stuck.
Yeah,
He was the patsy. They paid him to stand there and take the place of the shooter. He didn't take the actual shot.
Well,
Or if he did, he was just supposed to take a shot just in a general direction and not actually do anything.
Right.
So
yeah, that's that. That whole scenario is kind of crazy, man. I don't even know. Just think how the world would be if he survived that gunshot and continue with his presidency.
mm-hmm.
There's a lot of talk that Vietnam would not have happened, or at least not the way, because he was quoted as saying it's their war, let them fight it.
Exactly.
As far as the U.S. being involved, there's a lot that definitely would have been different.
I mean, that's how the U.S. was in World War II. It was their war, let them fight it until they brought it in our backyard, and then we were like, okay, I guess we're gonna have to do something then.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Now, William, I know you just been with the team for a short time. Have you done a lot of research with the team?
Not too. We haven't gone and done any investigations since I've joined. Yet. Since I've joined. So not yet. So
no, but but what I meant by that is, have you got to know your team members?
Oh yeah. Through the Discord, we all we talk daily, come up with ideas. Some for charitable work for next year, and some to do investigation. Just we all shoot out ideas.
Okay, now shooting out ideas. Tell me, because you said there's 11 on your team, 11, 12. Yeah. Okay. So tell me a little bit about your team, because a lot of people I hear wants to know about you guys. So
okay. Yeah. I wish Melissa was here. She's definitely the haunted location master. She's one that takes a lot of points and puts out a lot of plays. Like, hey, check this out, check that out. I would call Janessa our event coordinator. She takes
at this point,
especially during our toy drives during Christmas, as far as getting those things put together. And she did a great job this year in the city of Venus. Then there's certain people that Russell, he'll be here hopefully pretty soon, and he comes up with a lot of ideas for coordinating different ideas for the events and the location scouting and whatnot. So and then there's some guys who can jump in when possible, and they lend in there. Rain is putting out together his. Have you seen the new trailer with the jackets? Yeah,
the red jacket.
Okay. Now, what kind of paranormal team are you guys? Different types. A lot of people do different type of investigations. A lot of people do this, do that. Well, what exactly does you guys do?
A lot of us are interested in the paranormal. So a lot of us want to get together and do something that pays homage to the Ghostbusters films, but also is semi-serious at the same time. So the series we're talking about doing, we want to do actual semi-serious paranormal investigations where we're going into paranormal hotspots and exploring and stuff, and we're going to sensationalize a little bit and fictionalize a little bit of it for the sake of story and film and but yeah, do I take it seriously? Do I look for actual readings and stuff like that? Yeah, like I've been to the Haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells that's just down the street from the Baker Hotel, and I've seen a lot of stuff in that house that shouldn't happen but does anyway. and stuff, and yeah, stuff like that. So I have a healthy scientific skepticism to prove it wrong, but there's things that I've seen that you can't come up with an explanation for it. And do I automatically say it's paranormal? To an extent, I do, but I don't say it's a ghost or anything of that sort because I have no way of scientifically determining whether or not it is, in fact, a ghost. Um, it's something unexplained at that point.
Wow.
But yeah, we our group is primarily a charity based group that dresses up and makes appearances as Ghostbusters based on the films. Do we do any serious paranormal investigations? Not yet, but we're planning to do so in conjunction with that series that we want to film.
Oh
So
wow. That's hey. Uh, how often do you, I mean, how far do you guys go? For these charitable events that you guys do.
we haven't gone too far out yet, I'd say. We stay mostly local in the DFW area. Some maybe I'd say within a 50-mile radius outside of the DFW area, like Venus, William just mentioned. Um, we have two members that come from Venus, Texas, and they set up a part of our Christmas toy drive. They set up um, a table at a Christmas in the Square event that they did there to represent us and to gather toy donations and stuff. And they got donations from both the Venus Police Department and the Venus Fire Department and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, where the need is, if we're able to do it, I'd say we'll be there where we can. So,
So, have you guys got any serious calls to actually come out and investigate any residential, maybe?
no, I do leave it open to say that we can do that. Uh,
Hmm.
but I think people take it as tongue in cheek, because we're Ghostbusters, so they think we're more fiction than reality. Would we do it? Would we actually go out there and inspect some stuff? Yeah, absolutely. I would be down in an instant. I'd be like, we're coming in uniform with the packs on and everything, right?
Yeah.
Like we're gonna come with serious tools, but we're also gonna have
Right.
a pack and a trap on us at the same time,
Mm. You,
But
because
that's
it's just
heck of
that's
a-
crazy because Ghostbusters, when that movie first came up in what 1984,
84.
I was gonna say 83. Man, paranormal investigating wasn't really a big thing.
No, not at all.
most of the
The entire thing was the brainchild of Dan Aykroyd, and his original uh, idea for Ghostbusters was way out there compared to what we got on film.
Right.
But that was Harold Ramis's doing because he came in and grounded it and made it more of a grassroots out of New York type scenario, which
Yeah.
Dan started vibing with and started, modifying the idea to reflect that and everything. And we got what we got and what is the franchise today. Dan's family history is very rooted in the paranormal. His father wrote an entire book on it, which I think I have right here. Yeah. A History of Ghosts, written by his father. Um,
Oh,
uh, had to do with the seances he attended and stuff like that. And because it goes pretty far back in Dan Aykroyd's family history, like his grandparents and stuff had been to like seances and stuff like that and seen things that they can't explain and that sort of thing. So he's very very much a paranormal believer, and that's where Ghostbusters was born from. So
wow. Now, will it be ever possible that paranormal investigators can ever get to that stage where they can actually do what they did in the movie, actually catch a ghost and,
and hold
be
it
able
indefinitely. The proton pack, believe it or not, is grounded in a lot of real science.
look what they
Does
do.
it? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, William. I couldn't
Oh
hear you.
no,
Go
no,
ahead.
And it was like they said the same thing about Star Trek. Do you think? And now look at what we have, like the phones and everything. They're based off the
data pads, basically. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I definitely think that those applications can be, with the science, can be made real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would they do exactly what they do in the films?
No.
That I can't say. Do we have the technology to build an actual proton pack that would work today? I think we do, but it wouldn't put out near as much power as you see them do in the films, because they're using cyclotron technology and not synchrotron technology, which synchrotron replaced the cyclotron because it was more efficient. A cyclotron can only accelerate particles to a certain extent. I'm going into nerd speak at this point. But yeah, it can only accelerate particles to a certain speed, as high as it can possibly go, depending on its size and power output that's fueling it and everything. So could you create a proton pack that would work today? Yes. Would it shoot out a proton stream as powerful as you see in the films? No. It would send out a beam, but it wouldn't be this crazy rubber hose beam you see flying all over the place.
So basically, you have, like they said, you got a reactor on your back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no. It's a particle accelerator. So to a certain extent, does it produce radiation? Yes, but it doesn't produce harmful radiation of any kind. The radiation itself that they speak about being a nuclear accelerator comes from the fuel source, part of the fuel source for the proton pack, which is fueled by curium-246, which is come on, brain. It's plutonium runoff. It's part of a radioactive material that can be used in a radioactive thermoelectric generator, radioisotope thermoelectric generator, yeah, that can power a battery and whatnot. Basically, it acts like an alternator that could keep a high charged battery powered for about 5,000 years. So,
hey man, that's hey, we can find some outlets to plug into that. I ain't never got to worry about getting electricity.
yeah. It's the same technology they use in spacecraft to keep systems electrically up and running, so they never have to worry about batteries dying in space because they're being fueled by radioactive material that literally doesn't go bad for like hundreds of thousands of years.
Okay. Now, how exactly do you guys feel, William? How do you feel the way that paranormal investigators, the way they, the way that Hollywood, because when you think of Ghostbusters, you think of Hollywood. How do you think Hollywood portrayed paranormal investigators?
Well, I mean, are we talking about movies, or are we talking about the TV shows like Ghost Hunters and?
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about a little bit of both. Give me your, what you think.
It's a good question.
Yeah. So like, I remember I used to be a big Ghost Hunters P1. I used to watch it all the time. And when they did a Halloween special, I stopped because I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, now you're starting to
go in there on a location, and the first thing we try to do is to debunk the things that they think would be paranormal activity.
Scientific method, yeah. That's how you're supposed to do it.
During the haunted, I'll never forget, they were in a haunted hotel, and they have a group in one room and a group in the other, and they literally did the phone ring, and the woman picks up, and she goes, "There's no one there." I was like, okay, click.
Oh my God.
I was like, this is, okay. Not taking, now as far as the movies go, I think, the Warrens are kind of the first, I think, the first like publicized paranormal investigators as far as, what was the movie called?
Conjuring.
Amityville Horror.
Oh, Amityville too, yeah.
Yeah.
You're going way back with that one.
Yeah. And the Annabelle and all that stuff.
Annabelle, the newer films, Conjuring, yeah.
Conjuring and stuff like that. And so I think Bye, cat. Okay. And I think they don't make it look as silly. They want you to take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, use it for scares because that's what brings in the money.
Mhm.
But they don't sit there and also, same as with the Ghostbusters franchise, they want you to take this stuff seriously while they tell their own story around it. So I think they
Right.
Combination of horror, comedy, sci-fi. That's part of what makes Ghostbusters so unique, is because they try to fit it into one genre, and I'm like, you can't. Like it's horror, it's comedy, and it's sci-fi all at the same time. Like it, yeah. But I'm
So
sorry.
they
Go
treat
ahead.
it pretty fairly though. They don't treat it as a joke. Like
Yeah.
like you mentioned earlier, like, do we get any calls for any actual investigations? Well, no, because I think people, if we show up, when we show up with our uniforms on, because this isn't a costume, this is a uniform, and our everybody sits there and be like, oh, y'all are just playing a show. No, we're there to take it seriously if you want us to. This is just
Right.
because this is how we want ourselves and our brand.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Now, with these new Ghostbuster movies, because I know they got one coming out in
Yes, sir.
next year, and the last two that they made, I was kind of a big skeptic, especially with the ones with the kids, because when you bring kids into a certain situation like that, especially into a movie, kids today actually think that they can go and do this without even the proper training, the proper research, and they just basically just want to go into something and not knowing what the heck they're getting themselves into. So
Well,
what do you,
Phoebe was basically a genius at a very young
yeah,
age. She was
so
very
I
smart.
mean,
So
so what do you guys think about when the franchise brought the kids in and did that movie?
I had zero problem with it, because I
Yeah,
mean, if you look at Ernie Hudson, Winston Zedmore from the first film, that man didn't know anything about the
No, he
paranormal.
didn't.
He
All he
just
wanted
wanted
was
a
a
job,
paycheck.
he proved
and now he's the CEO of the entire company. At this point, he owns Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is his thing now, and I mean, you don't. Does it help to know about the paranormal and the science behind it? Yes, but the thing is that Egon and everybody else already developed the equipment. They already developed everything that you need to catch a ghost, and all you need to be taught at that point is how to do it. You don't need to know the science behind it within that universe.
no.
Um, the people who appreciate the science behind it are people like Phoebe, who are already science inclined and geniuses themselves. But somebody like her brother Trevor, who's not necessarily that smart or whatever, he can be shown how to point and shoot, you know and
Right.
how to throw a box out and stomp the pedal and put it over the trap cone and all that. You don't need to know
It's in a
the
different his mechanical acuity and everything else.
yeah,
The work
yeah.
differently.
It's like being shown how to do any job. You don't necessarily need to know the why behind it if you're shown how to do it. You
Okay,
know.
I'm gonna bring in Melissa.
Oh, Melissa's jumping on. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring her in. Let's
Hi,
see.
friend.
Hey guys,
Hi, Melissa.
how are y'all?
Good.
Good.
Good, good. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, sir. You?
I'm doing okay. I'm dry. It's raining cats and dogs out there.
Hmm.
Or,
That's Texas for you.
as we
Yeah.
Bipolar.
say, it's not raining cats and dogs, it's raining hot dogs and hamburgers.
There you go. Raining meatballs. Cloudy with a
Yeah,
chance of
there you
meatballs.
go.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, guys, let's talk about, whoa, man, when the ladies first came into that show.
Oh
Now,
no.
I didn't think, me personally, I thought that was more of a comedy than anything because man, I was rolling in some of the stuff that they were doing, and what's her name was saying. What do you guys think about that movie there?
I'm gonna let y'all answer.
I find it. I thought it was fun only because it's not when it first came out and all the hate that got spilled out online about it. People saying their childhood was ruined, which is a whole other thing. That's for a different podcast about people's psyche.
Hmm.
It I was on board. I was like, I'm not going to watch it. Well, I broke down and watched it, and it was not great, but it was not a dumpster fire. I think. I forget the actress's name now who played the tall
Holtzman.
Kate McKinnon.
Kate was amazing in that
Yeah,
film.
she really bought into it, and she gives me all the laughs. Like you said, it's more of a comedy, and she provides laughs. The special,
She was funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's funny. The rest of them, not so much.
Well, I thought what's her name was pretty funny. What's the one with the glasses?
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah. She was
like
pretty funny.
Gag throughout the whole thing. With her getting the soup, and it was either one wonton in there, or it was 20 million wontons. So
I was originally on board with the film when they first announced it. I was like, we're getting new Ghostbusters. I'm excited. Let's go, let's go, let's go. They announced an all-female cast, and I was like, girl power, let's do this. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And then they said the word reboot, and I went, excuse me? Come again? What was that? Dan Aykroyd's been parading for a third film for like 20, 30 years, and you're going to reboot this? What are you doing? What are you doing? And then the script leaked, and I read it. I read the general summary of the script that leaked, and I went, "Oh my God, this is going to be horrible. This is going to be awful."
How much money did that movie generate? No, how much did it lose?
I don't know the number, but a lot.
I think they didn't get any profit. I don't know if they broke even, but I know they got zero profit off of it. That much I know. So.
Yeah, like I said, it didn't do well, unfortunately.
Now, what got blown out of proportion were the misogynistic, bigot buttheads that made a lot of comments about them being women. And those got taken up by Sony and broadcasted as part of their campaign for the movie against, the misogyny of the film or whatever. And I thought that was a huge mistake on Sony's part, especially considering, in my opinion, the 2016 film is a giant FU to the male race in general, considering every character in the film that's male is a dumbass. And
how
like
the boss, they defeat Ronan by literally kicking him in the nuts.
Yeah, shooting him in the genital area.
Right.
That's how they win. And I'm like, and you guys are screaming about sexism against women when you guys are like, the entire thing is like one tongue-in-cheek jab at men? Like, what?
Now, do you think that the movie would have been more successful as if they would have put a different cast of women in there? They're a little bit more funnier.
I don't think it had anything to do with them.
No.
In my opinion, it didn't have anything to do with them. I had no problem with the women they casted for it because they were all SNL alums, which was in par with what the first movie was. The first movie was they were all former SNL member cast. You know what I mean? With the exclusion of Ernie Hudson. But yeah, they were all primarily SNL members. Same thing with the women. I was like, they're all from SNL. Okay, we're keeping it in the family. I get it. I understand that. And the moment they said reboot was when I was like, nope, I'm done.
The script had some good jokes. I think overall plot was good, but the script was just subpar also. These only do so much with bad words.
They should have had to let them
very poorly written.
Ad-lib.
Yeah.
That's what
ad-lib, yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Was all the ad-libs, because there wasn't hardly a script scene that was shot that didn't have at least one.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's where Kate was amazing. Holtzman was amazing because she ad-libbed a lot of her stuff in that film, and she was funny as snot. I love her to this day. She's hilarious. But yeah,
Why do you guys think there has not been a spinoff from any of those movies?
The controversy behind it, the fact that it brought so much stink and so much it drove a wedge in the fandom. It really did.
I
And to
think
this day, we're arguing about
I
it
think
to this very day.
I think the only way they could really revisit that franchise or that part of the franchise is to do what they did in, I think it was one of the IDW series, and that was to make a multiverse
Multiverse. Mm,
crossover thing movie,
mm,
and that'd be the only way they could revisit that. And that's the only way I really think maybe they get accepted to a point, you
mhm.
know. But you know, it's
The problem
Interesting.
is there's people that don't like the film like myself, and we automatically get labeled as misogynists or bigots or whatever. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
dude, that's not it. I don't care what gender the Ghostbusters are. I don't care because I mean, in Extreme Ghostbusters, which happened even before this movie, you had Kylie in that cartoon who was a woman Ghostbuster. Nobody had a problem with it. Nobody said anything about it.
And
You
you know
know?
what? There's a lot of people on this planet who've never seen the cartoon aspect of Ghostbusters. I was a kid when that came
Hmm.
out. And
Hmm.
you know what? And I think it went what, maybe 2 seasons?
Extreme didn't last for very long. The real
And man,
Ghostbusters lasted for a while, but Extreme
yeah,
didn't go for
and
very long.
the biggest and the one of the main bad characters on the show with the Ghostbusters was the Sandman. And dude, the Sandman was the guy in the cartoon, you
Yeah,
Mhm.
know.
yeah.
And I just, to me, I just went. They should have went step by step with the cartoon. I think it would have been more successful if they went step by step with the cartoon.
That's funny you say that because supposedly the newest film, according to I forget the gentleman's name. He's one of the
Bill
actors in the
Hughes.
new film. Uh, you probably got it right, Melissa. It's one of the actors mentioned that they took a lot of inspiration for this new film from the real Ghostbusters, from the cartoon. And I'm like, let's go. Like that was all I needed to hear. I was just like, let's do this, because the cartoon was phenomenal as a kid. Did they
It was
kind of go
great.
off in weird directions sometimes? Sure, but every cartoon did. But for the whole of it, I feel like they did a lot to expand the brand.
Oh,
And
definitely,
And
yeah,
definitely. And what's so really cool about the cartoon is it opens a lot of kids' eyes to the what if.
yeah, oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that, man, I can only tell you, dude. Back then, hell, I had my little photon pack. It might have been
I
a
did
broom
too.
handle. It might have been a
I had
broom
all them
handle,
toys.
but I'm like shooting ghosts here, shooting ghosts
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
I had the
I
projector that put the ghosts on the wall,
yeah.
so you could turn your
Or the
lights off and put the ghosts on the wall and stuff.
yeah,
That
growing
was
up, I
fun.
or the Kenner Proton Pack. So after school, my brother and I, we take our books out of our backpack and stuff it full of newspaper, and take our pop guns and do a jump rope between that and our backpacks, and go back and get busting out and
Yep,
ghosts.
yep.
Now, it's this like 7-year-old me is just thrilled now to be able to be a Ghostbuster.
Well,
Do it for
let me ask
real.
you
Yeah.
guys. Let me ask you guys a serious question.
Go ahead.
Where do you think the franchise would be if what's it? I can't remember his name. The guy that passed away. What would you think it would be if he wouldn't have
Harold
passed?
Ramis.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it makes you wonder if they would have done Afterlife at all, or if they still would have been in developmental hell, so to speak, for
Mm.
the continued movie, because the big the big rumor was that Bill Murray was the issue with them getting that movie done.
Mm.
So,
The beef between Bill and Harold was partially responsible for that. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I didn't know there was any beef with those guys. I mean, they seem
If I
so calm and
may,
collected.
yeah. So Harold Ramis directed Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. during that time, Bill was going through a divorce. Um, Bill's already kind of an asshole to begin with, but he's a lovable asshole. He can be difficult to work with for certain people. He can be read completely wrong by certain people and just come across as an absolute dick. Um, but he was going through some really bad points in his life during the filming of Groundhog Day, so much so that he pissed off Harold Ramis so much that Harold Ramis threw him into a wall and punched him. And Harold
Oh,
is
wow.
probably one of the most gentle men in Hollywood that I ever saw. So the fact that Bill pushed him to that point, that created an entire rift between them to where they stopped speaking for years up until Harold Ramis had become deathly ill, at which point Bill had visited him and they squashed their problems and made up as friends. At which point I think this is pure speculation. I can't say for sure if any of this happened, but Bill suddenly, after Harold passed, had a completely different look on anything having to do with Ghostbusters and sequels and whatnot. Um, and he suddenly became all for them. And I have a feeling Harold had something to do with that in their last discussion together. I feel like Harold might have said something along the lines of, if they want to do another Ghostbusters, you better say yes.
Yeah,
for me.
this is maybe his way of honoring Harold's memory.
True.
And
Because
I don't know if you saw, Janessa commented if her and Josh can jump in. I don't know if it's how much time we got left, but that's up to our host. A couple of guys in the group.
Yeah, they can jump in. More the merrier. I like, one thing about me is I like to see everybody aspect of the conversation.
Sure.
That's just me. So if they want to jump in, feel free to. If you guys have the link, just follow the link and jump on in. I mean, I would love to have you guys on.
And I also saw a comment from Irene talking about, I guess we were talking about the 2016 movie about how it might have been more receptive if the OG cast starred in it, but that it also portrayed women as strong. And she made a point that that there are more women that are involved in the paranormal than men. And you know what? She probably has a pretty good point there because personally in my life, I've never, when I was younger, I watched it here and, the Ghost Hunters and stuff like that. But my ex-wife, man, she watched all of it, all the shows and stuff like that. So she probably has a really good point in that, in my cat's tail.
Pay attention to me, Daddy.
Oh my God.
So just joining us is Josh and Janessa, two of our newest members.
Hi.
Hi guys. How you doing today?
Hi. We're good. We're trying to get ready for Christmas, so we were a little late.
Oh, that's no problem.
I got my Christmas shopping done back in November, early October. I'm
smart
good.
Man.
Yeah. I'm the world's biggest procrastinator. I definitely did. I finished shopping today, so.
Oh my!
Until she
last minute,
tomorrow.
Jeez.
Well, I hope you got me something.
Well, I still have time to run out.
Stop it.
I'm good with that. Hey,
wrapping presents when my phone goes off and look at the Discord. It's like, hey, get ready for the podcast. And oh shit!
I completely forgot, and I was in the middle of mixing my alcoholic ecto cooler, and I saw the link and went, "Oh crap, that's right, it's at 7. Let me go throw my suit on real quick and get set up."
Well, actually, I had a young lady out of New Jersey that canceled out on me yesterday. I mean, and if I would have knew that, I would have asked you guys yesterday instead of today.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's no big deal.
You got most of it here, so you're good.
Yeah, Russell might still be coming in at some point. So.
Well, you know what? I would say the more the merrier, man. I swear I can get different. I can get the whole aspect of the team. One person might say a little something different, and all this and all that. It's all good with me.
I've said enough, so y'all carry on.
get some actual equipment, a mic, and some actual, get some cans like Nick there, and some equipment here.
Turtle Beach.
I know this last, and I just didn't know if there's something to go through my head with it being a paranormal podcast. Anyone else, whether as a kid or adult, actually experienced a paranormal activity, to quote the movie, I guess. But I just remember when I was a kid, I used to see shadow people, and I never tell anybody this because I was a kid. And I was like,
I did too.
The covers and go back to sleep, But what about y'all?
Oh yeah, I had a malevolent entity visit me when I was 16. So,
well, it's like, especially depending on where you go, you're gonna see
oh God,
feel images and shadows.
Kitty.
Because,
Hey, I'm sorry, guys, but Irene is just cracking me up today. She's from Japan, and she's got me some Pikachu underwear, man, for Christmas.
oh no. Melissa, you were saying, what were you saying about something you'd seen?
Like, depending on where you go, there you can definitely feel residuals of the past, depending on where you go. My group knows this. I'm literally, I portray myself as the historian of the group because I am very much a history nerd. Most of my books are history books, and I've been to a bunch of old battlefields, Goliad, the Alamo, here in Texas.
Melissa's a Civil War reenactor. So.
Oh wow. And guys, and that's why when we first jumped in on the show, that's why I asked about Goatman's Bridge. What is the big fascination about that place? Why do so many people from across the country, from across our state, flock to that particular bridge? I don't know why. I asked Nick. He kind of explained it a little bit, but since Melissa, you are a historian, tell me what is so special about that place?
Well, I think it's just the part of it's the legends, and that's definitely at least part of it. But I think some of it also is just the allure. It's being able to walk in the footsteps of those who came before us, and maybe seeing something that maybe they saw.
Now
the possibility, yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, if you're reading a book about that, everything in that book sounds far-fetched. Is it possible that somebody that can happen and somebody can return part goat, part human? I don't know, but it sounds so far-fetched, but yet thousands of people go to that location. You know what? I would buy that bridge. I would literally buy that bridge from the county and make it an attraction and make some money off of it.
That's actually not a bad idea. I mean, Haunted America did a ticketed event where they went down there to investigate or whatever, and I was like, are you guys legally able to charge tickets to go to a public area like that? I was charging them up on it and they got mad. But yeah.
Well, technically you're not supposed to. So they could have got in trouble with that. You know what I'm saying? But if the money was donated to a nonprofit, yeah, you can do it.
Oh, it's not. It's a profit for them. So
yeah, so that wasn't cool if they did that. Yeah, that's crazy. But
yeah, if it becomes private property owned by somebody like you, if you bought it and you charged admission for it, at that point all bets are off. That's perfectly fine. You own the bridge. You have every right to charge if somebody wants access to it. So
hell, I'll charge you $1.
I mean,
give me $1, man. I can get it either way.
I'd buy that for $1.
Give me 100 pennies. Give me 4 quarters. Give me a shitload of nickels and dimes. It doesn't matter.
Josh, Janessa, have y'all been there? Have y'all been to Old Dalton Bridge?
Oh, Dalton Bridge.
I haven't.
Yeah. Goatman's Bridge, yeah.
No, we grew up in Arlington where they have like Screaming Bridge.
and the Arkansas.
Yeah.
And Hell's
I've been
Gate.
to Screaming Bridge. Yeah, that one
Now,
was
why is
creepy.
there so many bridges that are haunted? I don't
Oh
understand.
no,
I don't
I
know.
think it.
Busload of cheerleaders supposedly went over Screaming Bridge.
Yeah. Coming
There's a
home
lot
from
of
the
stories
football
around
game.
Screaming Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It, like I remember, God, I was little. I think I might have been 4, and we're in this big LTD boat, and I don't even know where we were. We stopped on these train tracks, and my dad acted like the car wouldn't start, and we're all in the back seat screaming. And and he says, "Oh, the train's coming." So I wonder how much of it just starts with those stories and traditions, where that dad does it to their kids, and that dad does it to his kids, and down the line until it becomes
Telephone. Yeah.
All right. Hey guys, let's take a straw poll. How many of you guys would actually go become an actual paranormal investigator and actually start doing investigations? How many of you guys would actually want to do that?
Oh yeah.
I think it'd be interesting.
Would you want to do that?
It would depend on the hourly rate.
It is a very not paying job. I will say that.
Well,
You get crazy
hey,
category sometimes.
I can tell you this. You might get a can of beer out of it. You might get a bottled beer out of it. Yeah, I mean, but as far as you guys making money out of it, you might
get a hug.
Yeah, you might run across some trouble into that one. I don't know.
Well, as long as we were representing Ghostbusters, I don't want to make a profit of any kind because Sony lets us play in their sandbox and make replica props and all that sort of thing without any problem with it whatsoever. But the moment we start making money off of their brand, that's when things become an issue. So I don't even want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. So
yeah, hey man, that's a pretty big sandbox.
Yeah, definitely.
That is a huge sandbox. Hey, what does the kids? Hey, when you guys drive up, man, what does the kid? They see all the costume. What do the kids who've never seen the movie? What did they say to you guys?
Oh man, it's like they know. It's like they haven't. Even if they haven't seen the movie, they still know what it is.
Most of them know. Yeah.
Or they'll ask, "What's that? What's that? What does that do?" And then we'll explain what everything does, and let them hold it, and like hold the wand or the PKE meter, and they just get a kick out of it.
This one thing I can say about this generation, man, of individuals. They don't know what they're missing when they don't watch movies from, the 80s era. I mean,
80s was a golden age of movies. Yeah.
Those years would never, ever repeat themselves.
It's so funny. I have a friend and she has a 13-year-old daughter, and, being 13, she just mehs everything, and everything that she knows is everything. But she knows Ghostbusters.
Mm.
That's cool.
And they were calling themselves Ghostbusters. It was a Japanese movie. And we both started going, dun, 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 dun. So, it's this, no matter the age range. And even when you think you're too cool for it, you know what it is.
And you know what? And today, that song is probably on every Halloween list on YouTube.
Yep. Still paying Huey.
I took my.
He's still paying you. Yeah. I found out about that as an adult. I was like, wow, really? I was like, what's funny is it kind of does sound like their sort of sound. It sounds like their style. You know what I mean? It does sound a little bit like Huey Lewis and the News style. So I'm not surprised at all. Ray got the pantsuit off of him for that. But yeah.
Ghostbusters baseline to I Want a New Drug by Huey Lewis and the News. And that's the same.
It sounds just alike. I didn't want to bring that up, but it
up to me to
the song still slaps, whether or not it was ripped off from Huey Lewis and the News. So
yeah, man, and I'm pretty sure the royalties. He's still collecting royalties off of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's making.
He just performed last year at Walt Disney World. He just performed there, and you know for a fact he did that song. He had to have done that song.
Oh yeah, hell, more than once. Probably the beginning at the ending.
What'd you say, Melissa?
He was also on The Masked Singer.
Recently? Oh, okay. Well, I'm not surprised.
I did not surprise that. Hey, you guys have the costumes. I mean, you guys, if I'm right, you guys actually, I think you guys have the actual Ecto One. Am I right?
That's not ours. That's a friend of ours' car. That doesn't belong to our group. He has his own.
You guys get in that.
I mean, he's very open and he's open to do a lot of events with us. He did a photo shoot with us this past year. He also did the Dallas Holiday Parade with us. But yeah, that's not our car. That belongs to Kyle, and his brand is Ecto TX on social media. So.
Wow, I would love to have got him on the show with you guys.
Yeah, Kyle's been pretty busy this time of year, so.
Yeah, he's we were in contact with him maybe to do something for the opening night for the movie comes out. This next movie comes out. So I've been talking to him about
next year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, do anybody reach out for premieres in the Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington area? Does any of the movie theaters reach out to you guys?
I mean, they haven't reached out to us. We've mostly reached out to them, especially because next year is the 40th anniversary of the first film, along with Frozen Empire, the new movie coming out. So we're still fairly a new group. We started May 31st of this year. So we've only been around a little over 6 months at this point. There were other Ghostbuster groups. One Ghostbuster group that was the Ghostbuster group of the DFW Metroplex area, and they just kind of silently retired. And we scooped up some of their members from their group that wanted to keep doing this sort of thing, while the rest of them were content to do other projects. So.
Okay. Now, the one question I gotta ask you is, where's the brother at? Where's the brother? Where's the brother?
I don't have one yet. We don't have.
Man, he's got to be on the show.
Yeah. We haven't.
Russell, yeah. Russell. I don't know if he's coming in or not. He might. Matter of fact, let me check.
I think he said something about needing to spend time with his girl.
Oh, okay. Russell said he's sitting it out. Yeah. Oh well, no big deal. But yeah.
Oh man, come on, we can't have a ghost. But hey, he killed me when he was in the damn New York transit, and he talking about the giant cockroaches and the train that ran.
Oh, Winston, yeah, Winston's funny. And then he got hit by that ghost train. Did you catch the number of that train? Sorry, I missed it. Yeah.
I think that was probably, man, one of his biggest scenes.
What I appreciate more than anything is that he is the CEO of the company now. He is boss man, because he was very underutilized by the studio in both films, even though he was a prominent character. Right. The studios kind of gypped him due to racism and other things. But now they're like, no, you're the boss man now. You're the man in charge now. And he's like, okay.
And he was doing a commercial recently for I can't remember what it was. Could have been vaccinations or I don't know. But it was like he started off with Ghostbuster Ernie Hudson here. And I just love how he carries that torch for the fandom and for the whole franchise right now.
And I think he was the youngest out of the three, wasn't he?
I think
He might have been. I'm not sure. They were all. I don't know.
He's
Yeah.
78 now.
Yeah, he's 78 now.
Because
Dan is in his.
71.
I want to say Dan's in his 70s now. I know Bill is.
he's aged, Ernie's aged well compared to the other two.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Ernie's kept in shape, and as my fiance loves to tell me, black don't crack. So.
See how? So, you got him.
Hey, you know what? I don't know. I mean, yeah, we're gonna let. I don't know if it does or not, man. You know what? The next time I go to the HEB, I'm gonna check that out because now I got to see if that really does or not. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. I don't know, man.
Remember, I
So
think they wanted
go
Eddie
ahead.
Murphy Winston originally, didn't they?
Yeah, Ghostbusters was originally supposed to be Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, and Eddie Murphy and Harold Ramis. That was supposed to be the original cast. Eddie was doing Beverly Hills Cop. He just signed on for that, and he's like, "I'm sorry, guys, I just signed a contract. I can't do it."
Now
So
let's play devil's advocate. Let's throw those guys in there, man. Would the
would have been a
movie
completely different movie.
would it be successful as it was?
I think
the
so.
first anyway.
I
Yeah.
think so. I mean, Eddie was a genius. Eddie is a genius. Eddie's from back then, so I think it would have absolutely been just as good.
Again, this
I'm
is
not
all,
sure about John.
I
but-
wanted, and Nick could probably confirm this. Wasn't the script completely different where Winston had a lot more lines when Eddie was supposed to be cast?
Winston was originally the character that was supposed to be Slime by Slimer when they had Eddie Murphy slated for it.
Okay.
So where Bill Murray got Slime by Slimer, that was supposed to be Eddie Murphy being Slime by Slimer as Winston Zedmore. Winston was supposed to come in a lot earlier into the script than he ended up coming in because it was supposed to be Eddie Murphy, who was huge at the time. So they wanted him prominently throughout the film. And then when they found out they couldn't get Eddie Murphy, they cast Ernie Hudson and put him in later in the film. So
Nick,
Yeah,
watch-
man, that would have been crazy.
You still see Bill Murray rolling around the floor. Just imagine Eddie Murphy going.
You know, I kind of see.
Yeah.
You know, if that was if they said that the roles were actually like that, I think Eddie probably would have basically took over the whole damn movie.
Oh yeah.
Eddie would have been a huge character in it. Yeah, John would have, because John was supposed to be Venkman. John was supposed to be Bill Murray's part, which I can see John playing to a certain extent. Him getting Dana at the end, that'd be pretty funny. Because John Belushi's a short, not necessarily attractive man.
Yeah,
And him pulling Sigourney Weaver, that'd be pretty doggone hilarious by the end of that movie. So.
Oh yeah, because Sigourney is what? She's got to be at least 6 feet tall.
She's 6 foot.
Yeah,
I think
really,
she's 6 foot at least. She's pretty doggone tall. So yeah.
She literally would have to bend over and kiss him.
Yeah.
Might have been
John
one
was a bit of a shrimp. Yeah.
they had for Jim Belushi initially.
Also, Louis Tully, played by the incomparable Rick Moranis, who I miss to this day, and which would wish would come back to film in some extent. He was originally cast to be John Candy, but John had an extremely weird vision for Louis Tully that didn't end up coming to fruition because everybody kind of disagreed with it, and they're like, "John, we're not going to do that."
Well,
Sorry.
I think once he started doing Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, man, I had a funny feeling he wasn't going to go back.
Yeah, Rick Moranis, his wife passed away from cancer, and he decided to quit filming and take care of his kids.
Was that
at that
after
point.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or before?
Yeah, it was after.
Yeah.
That's why he suddenly just stops being in movies, a little after the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids franchise, because his wife had passed and he decided to take care of his kids. And he was like, if I come back to film at some point, I'll come back to film at some point. But he hasn't found a project that's really grabbed him. Maybe he'll show up in the new Ghostbusters film, even just for a cameo. I'm hoping and praying, because I miss that man's face. He was a comedic genius in his own right. So
yeah. Well, I hope you can drive the bus. Where you got on the bus?
Yeah. Well, I hope you got your license. Yeah.
That was so funny, man. That whole, I mean, we can debate this. I mean, you guys might think otherwise, but I think those first two movies would never ever be duplicated. They would never ever be anything compared to what they got going on now. And you know what? And and even the new movie that's coming out, there will never ever be any comparison.
No.
It's lightning in a bottle. It was an original fantastic idea, which is very hard to duplicate. Sequelitis, it's like, very few sequels end up being as good or superior to the original idea because you're playing off of an established idea already.
Mm-hmm. So it's like when I sometimes, if I want to go watch a classic movie, I'll go put on. Most of you guys probably weren't even born when this movie came out. Was the classic Conan the Barbarian with Arnold? Hey! Whoa, William! Come on, man!
Man, that was
HBO.
The Destroyer Arnold. Oh, come
on! You got to read that movie has been duplicated twice.
Yeah.
Get out of here! Come on.
And I mean, not duplicated. You got that second one was horrible with Grace Jones in it. Then you have the other one with this big old guy. I don't even know who he is. You know what? I ain't even watched the show. I ain't even watched that movie because it was so horrible.
Wasn't Conan in the latest one?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think the newest reboot they did with Jason Momoa, that was, I think Jason Momoa played Conan.
Yeah.
No good.
Come on, dude. There's only one Conan.
Yeah. His name is Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's the former governor of California.
And there's only one, and there can only be two Ghostbuster films ever. Classic, instant classic. Should not be rebooted like they did, like you say, Nick.
At all.
Never should have been rebooted. There is some things Hollywood needs to leave alone.
I like the sequels. I honestly think they're taking them in a good direction. I'm
Well, like we were talking about earlier, the only problem that I have about the sequels is you have kids in there, and these kids today are copying the kids of that movie and want to go out and be paranormal investigators and know damn well that you can't compare the two. One's a movie and one's actual real. What you're doing is actual real, and that's where the problem come in at.
Well, I mean, I see it as inspiration. They can be inspired by it and then look into the actual field and what it's like Indiana Jones and inspiring kids to be archaeologists. Like it's not as glamorous as it seems to be in the films, but it inspires plenty of people to look into the actual science and stuff behind it, and then they become fascinated by it and end up learning something new. So I don't see it as a negative, really, because I mean, hell, it might convince one of them to become nuclear physicists of some kind because they're fascinated by the idea behind the proton pack and how it works.
Well, hell, man, just talking about it make me want to go rip my damn motor up out of my damn car and make a proton pack.
I mean, yeah.
Like the toy drive. Remember that gentleman who we let try in the pack, and he was like a little kid in the candy store?
Oh yeah, man, he was about 6'3", and he was like, oh man, he was a brother, and he put on that proton pack, and you just saw him get younger by about 30.
Oh, was that at the Venus thing that y'all did? Oh man, I wish I could have seen his face. That would have been great.
He was like kid in the candy store, just like, oh my god, can I try it on? Sure.
Can I put it on? Yeah.
You guys, William, man, you might as well just take it off, and I'm gonna send you my address so you can send it to me.
Having
And
that
things are expensive.
back in multiple traps.
Hey, but you know what? Oh man, I just had a fart. I just thought about this. You guys are running the Dallas division. Why not let me run the Central Texas division? I could be the Ernie Hudson, man.
What's funny is there's no franchises in the sort of Central Texas area from what I know of. They're all kind of spread out. Like we have the northern area, we have El Paso, there's some down near Corpus Christi in the southern end of Texas. But yeah, like in the middle, smack dab in the middle of DFW. Well, we have San Antonio and Austin, but I don't know if you'd call them central.
No, there's.
Are they central?
Yes, we're smack down in the middle of Texas.
Yeah, San Antonio and Austin are probably the most central franchises. But like as far as like, there is a big gap towards the middle of Texas where there's no franchises whatsoever. As far as Ghostbusters are concerned.
Take that for fun.
Hmm.
On Cheryl.
Well, I'm available, man. What about the Houston area, the East? You guys got anything over there?
There are Houston Ghostbusters. There's Houston and Yellow Rose Ghostbusters, two different franchises in the Houston area. So Houston's pretty much covered.
And we're all individual franchises. It's
Yeah.
Well, you know, how about Far East Texas?
I think the closest you get to Far East Texas, I believe there's a group in Shreveport. That's probably the closest you get to Far East.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. There's no franchises that come to mind from East Texas. I know West all the way in over El Paso there is, but East I'm not entirely certain.
East Texas, I think there's a group out in Shreveport. I think
Okay.
that's closest.
There are some. There's an Oklahoma Ghostbusters. I think they're kind of riding the border between Texas and Oklahoma. There was a Texarkana Ghostbusters many moons ago. I think they have since retired, maybe. But
there's KC, but that's a little bit further out.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much fun, man. I don't know why people will want to retire.
I'm gonna do it for as long as my back can hold that pack. So
yeah.
Well, your pack ain't no lightweight. It's kind of like mine.
Mine? No, it ain't. Mine's 35 pounds. Yeah.
I said your pack ain't no lightweight. It's like mine.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do it for as long as my back can hang on to it. So.
All right.
Let's pick up mine. Oh, is this all? And I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Hey, who's the secretary, man? You guys got everybody accounted for, but who plays? What's her name? Maylene?
Janine.
Janine.
We don't really have a Janine. Really.
I don't know, Janessa.
Oh, Janessa wants to be Janine as well as okay. What do you want?
Oh my God, dude! Can you imagine calling her and she have an attitude like that? Hell, I'll just hang up. I mean, I'm not even trying to tell her anything.
That's New York, though, man. That's like New York calling and be like, okay, she's having a bad day, you know?
Yeah, that she. What is she up to these days? I mean, have anybody even heard from her? Or
she's in the sequel. She's in the sequel, so she might end up behind that desk again, answering phones for all I know.
Wow, that'd be interesting. I wonder how much. Oh man, she didn't age. She was pretty young back then.
Yeah, pretty cute in Ghostbusters too, as a matter of fact.
But dude, just a dang attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Josh said, she voices Bo Peep in the Toy Story movies.
Yeah, she does. That's pretty funny.
Oh my gosh, you'll run me way with the attitude, man. I don't know if I can do that one, boy.
That's just New Yorker to me. New Yorker that doesn't take no crap from nobody.
Yeah, so. New York and East Texas. Oh my God.
Oh, and East Texas, like, Ghostbusters, what you want?
Oh man, East Texas. That accent really throws me off. We did an investigation in Jasper, and I'm like, "What the hell did you just say?"
What? Ghostbusters, man.
I said you won't go down there. There's down there that way. I'll take your quote.
It was weird, man. I felt
at one time. Huh?
if you guys ain't never been to Deep East Texas, Jasper, Henderson area, Lufkin, oh my God, dude, I felt so out of place there.
I've been as
Palestine, Rusk area.
Oh my God, dude. I just felt like somebody was constantly staring at me the whole damn time.
They probably were.
And I'm like,
With their chew in their mouth.
Yeah.
but they got some good food. They can freaking cook.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
They got some good food, man. I ate a chicken fried steak. Man, that's probably about that big.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. A while back, that's from Cheryl and Irene talking about how the kids know a lot about paranormal, activities and stuff in today's world. And I was like, that's pretty neat. And Irene said something about how parents will get their kids Ouija boards and not they don't know what they're doing with it. My parents did. I want Monopoly. I got a Ouija board. I don't think they knew what that was because my parents were really Christian. So I just
treat it like a board game, you know what I mean? And now we know better a little bit.
But guys, but if I remember when I was growing up, my uncle had a Ouija board, but he did not. He used it for what they did back in the 80s. They'll, get their little marijuana, put it on the board, shuffle it, and did it like that. I'm like, what? And you know what? I didn't think about that until now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that is actually a weed. Yeah, you're actually right, William.
I have a very strong feeling about Ouija boards. I'm like, if you don't know how to use it properly, if you don't know what you're doing, don't fool with it. Don't
But here's the question that I have for you, Nick. Nick, let me ask you a question. Now, is the Ouija board not so different from a REM pod?
The thing is if you are inviting anything paranormal to interact with you, you have to know what you're doing. And you have to know to let them know that there are boundaries to this communication, whether you're doing it through a REM pod or a Ouija board or whatever. You have to tell them you're here to answer questions, and that is all. You're not invited to do anything else. You're not invited to come do this. You're not invited to come do that. And when we say goodbye, it's goodbye. Go.
Mm-hmm. You have to know how to close the session.
Mm-hmm. You have to tell them firmly, we're done.
Yeah,
be on your way.
But with the REM pod, are you obligated to close something?
Well,
compared to with a Ouija board?
I mean, it's the Ouija board is ritual, but the ritual remains the same no matter what you're doing. Like you can verbally tell them out loud, "Thank you for your time. Our time is done. Go back to where you came from. We'll go back to where we came from. You are not invited to come home with us." It's as easy as that. You just firmly let them know this is as far as it goes, and leave it at that.
Okay. Good answer. Hey, guys. Now we were just talking about all the.
I think Melissa bounced out.
Yeah, I think she bounced out. She'll probably jump back in here in a minute. All these urban legends that are going on. You know what? And it's more urban legends up in North Texas, North and West Texas compared. I don't hear about too many in East Texas or in South Texas. It might be the Cooper, the Cooper Cabra and all that other stuff. But let's talk about something if you guys from North Texas, you guys probably heard about these guys. What about those black-eyed children that are hanging around over there in Northeast Texas?
That's a new one to me. I've never heard that one.
So that one's really, really creepy.
Oh, look, Janessa diving deep into it. Go for it.
No, because I'm like all things scary, and I read a bunch of articles about them where they've been spotted just like randomly at nighttime, and they have, you can see them during the day and they have black eyes, but at night their eyes are reflective, so it looks like they shine in the dark. And it is
Cat
so
eyes.
it's very. I'm surprised they haven't made a movie about it because it's so scary.
I think they have
Right.
made a movie. I think they have made a movie. Oh man, I want to say back in the 90s.
Really?
Yeah, I think
It's
they
like
did.
Slender Man.
It's kind
Yeah,
of like
it was one of those low budget movies. I don't even think that Hollywood was even involved in that. It was just somebody that wanted to make a movie and put the word out on what these guys are doing, you know. And and what's so crazy about it? It's the accounts of it's been unbelievable, because not only do you hear about just the average person, man, you've truck drivers, cops, these guys have been around West Texas for like hundreds or even thousands of years. That's how far they go back.
Yeah.
But
Pardon me.
nobody has even thought about kidnapping one of the little boogers and just,
Or they tried and found
Would you
out it
want
was
to? I wouldn't want to touch it. I wouldn't want to get anywhere near it.
Let me ask you a question. They're smart. They got some kind of education. They have some kind of. They're really smart, because you don't see them in the hood.
Shoot first, ask questions later at that point.
Hey, you know what? You don't see them on the bad side of Lubbock. And Lubbock is probably a hot spot for them.
That's weird. I'll have to ask a friend of mine who lives down there if they saw anything along those lines.
Ask him. I'm curious to see what he has to say about them, because a lot of people say they're aliens.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Theory.
But it's. I'm just, I'm curious to know about what they talk about. Hey, their little dark eyes don't scare me.
I don't know. They're pretty
Probably
creepy.
gossiping about how silly we are.
Hey,
Look at those stupid people going to the grocery store.
And what's so crazy about it, and this is what really gets me, they wear hoodies on their heads. Why come they have not got arrested yet?
Okay.
Sir, what are you doing? What are you doing over there, sir? Sir.
I'm saying, man, let me go and see the park like this.
No, we ain't trying to Trayvon, all right?
Hey, you think I would not get pulled over for walking? Man, I'm just saying, man, there are so many things out there that people know about, paranormal investigators know about, but they don't want to take that minute or that hour to do a little research on it. It's weird how it works.
It's because paranormal investigators have been sensationalized by television shows like Ghost Adventures and other shows that are more about the theatrics and less about the actual science. So yeah, but there's weird stuff. Like, I don't know if you've seen the new show that Dan Aykroyd hosts that's called I think it's either The Unexplained or The Unbelievable or something like that. And I was watching the first episode, and he was talking about a triangle in Lake Michigan that is similar to the Bermuda Triangle, in that ships have disappeared in that triangle on Lake Michigan and never been found again. They've gone down into the depths of the lake and never found a trace of that ship. Just gone. There was an instance of a story of a gentleman who was hiking in the triangle area on land near Lake Michigan, and he disappeared. And 15 months later, woke up in a field like 300 miles away. Was gone for over a year and woke up 300 miles away. No idea or recollection how he got there. And like, he doesn't even like talking about it anymore.
I bet he
just stays
train
quiet.
shit out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They have scared the crap. Now, one thing that irritates me about Hollywood if you look at the movies of the 70s, 80s, let's look at those two eras and see just how uh, those movies will actually make you feel some type of way afterwards. Like in the Poltergeist movies in the 80s, dude, there is no way that you can leave that TV on like that without your mind going wandering.
Yeah.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, because I have to sleep with the TV on, and if like I remember I used before streaming and stuff like that, I would put on a DVD, and if you get that little DVD menu at the end of whatever you're watching, you wake up and it's like, what the hell's going on?
Right. But
that plays into white noise phenomenon.
Yeah.
Because that's when people supposedly hear or pick up paranormal voices and stuff is during white noise, because they use that to come through. That's part of what the science is behind the spirit box, behind ESP, or not ESP, electronic voice, EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon, excuse me.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And you know, in today's movie, I don't know, man. I don't think there's no movie out there that can put that type of fear in me that the movies did back in the 70s and the 80s.
Well, because we already saw all the scary crap back then, so they can't really put anything out there that's going to scare us now.
Now they're worried about visualizing the fear so you can actually see it. I'll never forget what I think was the third. What was the one with it was set in Japan. It was not Ruon. No.
The Grudge.
The Grudge.
The Grudge.
I'll never forget. The first one, it left things to the imagination. It was kind of like a 1-to-1 of the Japanese version. Kind of. And the second one, I don't remember too much of, but I'll never forget when the third one come out. We'll go see it. And I'm like, oh, that was pretty good. And the next scene, they had the whole cast spell out what happened, so the audience has no imagination whatsoever. There's the imagination, nothing left to. They have to spell it all out for you, or actually, like people hate the Blair Witch Project because you don't get to see the witch. I don't want to see the witch. I like the imagination of not knowing what it was.
To me, the Blair Witch excelled in what it did until the very, very end, because to me there was no, like, you didn't have to see the witch. You just had to see a hand or something, because you had all that creepy crap come out. And then at the end, it could have very well been that the kids just lost their minds and were being stupid and ended up dead in the woods for being dumbasses.
Yeah,
and that's where
there's a lot of drugs, man, out there in those days. That, you know,
yeah. So that's where I feel like there should have been a little bit of a payoff at the end of Blair Witch. You don't have to completely see the witch like sucking their souls out of their body or whatever. You don't have to have that. It's like Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. Freddy was there, but they never really let you completely see him. He's shadowed through most of the film. You see bits and pieces of him. You see light reflecting off of parts of him and stuff, but you never get a full frontal, well-lit version of him until the sequels come out. Because the first one, he's supposed to be a nightmare, a dream, and you barely see him. And like even when they pull him into the real world, he's so heavily shadowed that you barely catch a glimpse of him throughout the whole film. You just see his silhouette more than anything, and that was the most terrifying thing for me of the first one.
And you know what's so crazy about all those Freddy movies? To be honest with you guys, we never watched any of those movies.
Really?
There was other things in the hood that we were more petrified of than going to sleep than watching this guy with claws.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Tales from the Hood.
I mean, this when Freddie came out, I was like, okay, yeah, seen that before.
That's crackhead down the street.
Yeah, I've seen that before, man.
I had very vivid dreams as a kid, so the idea that my dream could kill me was terrifying. So.
And the guy, the butcher down the street, had the same set of knives. So I can't. No. All right, hey guys, we've been on this show for an hour and 39 minutes.
Yeah.
And it seems like just like yesterday, 20 minutes ago, talking to you guys. Hey, tell the world how to get a hold of you if they want, you guys to come out and, put on a show or, do whatever you guys do.
Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram.
We do have a phone number, 817-601-5692 if you want to call us.
And I
Because who are
think
you going to call?
you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All
And
right.
But yeah.
all the socials is just Ghostbusters Texas Rangers Division. Right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Or, I mean, it's abbreviated when it needs to be. Like Instagram, it's ghostbusters.trd. Because we
TikTok
can't
too.
fit that whole name in an Instagram name. It's too doggone big.
Now, have you guys ever decided to see your main thing is TikTok and Facebook, right?
Facebook primarily.
Facebook.
We're expanding our other socials as much as we can because I'm letting other people take the reins of that, and so.
Yeah, man, I'm still trying to get into this social media thing. It's tough.
There's a lot of them now. There's too many of them.
Hey, I just introduced NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast to Rumble. I just introduced it to Kick. I don't know if you guys know what Kick is.
I have no idea.
Kick is another version of YouTube.
Oh God.
But it's a little bit more lenient. It's a little bit more lenient than YouTube. YouTube have all these safeguards. You can't cuss. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't open up a bottle of beer without you getting,
flagged.
All that getting flagged. But these guys here are a little bit more lenient. Kick is another version of Twitch. Twitch is Twitch is, if you're a gamer, you guys know what Twitch is.
Yeah.
I used to roll on what was the Xbox version of Twitch that they had for a while? It started with an M, I think. But they got shut down by Twitch. Yeah, I used to roll with them. Because they were a little more lenient than Twitch, and Twitch just kind of blew them out of the water. But yeah.
Yeah. And now Twitch is going over to Kick because there's a dispute going on between money. That Twitch is not paying these guys the money. That's
how it always goes.
Mm-hmm.
It's turned out to be something else, but maybe you guys should check those those social media platforms out. I'm learning them as I go here. But
How it always is.
Yeah, Instagram is allowing you to stream live now, so they got their heads out of their butts, and decided to do that, which I'm pretty proud of them. You know what I'm saying? But guys, it has been a pleasure talking to you guys. I really, really enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
Thank you for having us.
yeah. Feel free to share this with any and everyone. Hey, if you guys can, please come to my channel, hit that like, share, subscribe. And I will do the same with you guys if I haven't already. Yeah, I think I have.
Somebody double check him. No, I'm kidding.
I think I have already. So, hey guys, you guys have a very good holiday.
You as well.
We need to do
Happy
this
New
again
Year.
because it was quite educational with me with what you guys are doing. A lot of respect. I know it's a lot of hard work on what you guys do. But hey, you guys enjoy yourselves. William, stay out of trouble.
Why is it always
Maker Man? and Nick and Jessica, you guys enjoy your holidays, man. I don't know what
Vanessa
happened.
and Josh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Nessa.
Melissa?
Well, Melissa, yeah, she, I think she had to jump off, or maybe her battery died or something.
Oh no. But anyway, hey guys, you guys enjoy it. I appreciate it coming on the show. let's do it again.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Yes. Bye.
Hey, but
Bye.
what would be cool about it if we can get another team from another area to join you guys?
I can talk to Austin or San Antonio or
Bye.
Houston.
I think that would be pretty interesting. What you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
think we can do that. All right, guys. This is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast signing off. Hey, appreciate it, man. All the love and support from everybody. Let's do it again.
Yeah, definitely.
Peace, guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. What do you think about Ghostbusters Texas Rangers Division from Dallas, Texas? Hey, man, those guys are cool. For them to dress up and do what they do, man, I can imagine how hard it is to do something like that, and how much time and effort it takes. Unbelievable. Oh yeah, what you're in trouble for now, Irene? You're in trouble. But anyway, guys, I'm about to get out of here. Go grab me something to eat and see what's going on the telly. But in the meantime, man, this is Terry signing off. Hey, you guys have yourself a Merry Christmas and a great New Year.
And gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final